Okay, so in Unit 2, we explore the philosopher's concern with knowledge and question each other's views about the possibility of proving any claims about COVID and mask wearing are true. So, one thing that I want to point out to you with respect to Unit 2 is that there is a special deadline. As you can see, there is an official deadline, like always, but the official deadline applies only to task 1 through 4 of this unit, and hence there is a late deadline that applies just to 1 through 4 for this unit. So make sure you heed those dates for those tasks. There is a special deadline for one of the tasks, late deadline for task 1 through 4, special deadline for task 5. So that is going to be Sunday, 9/26, 11:59 p.m. There is no late deadline or official deadline. There's just one deadline. So the idea here is that you either get this in by this deadline or you do not. So if you don't get it in, then you'll get a 0, but you do have until the 26th. Please keep in mind that after the 21st, you will not see these tasks in the folder. You'll only see this task. And I'll explain in a minute or iterate something that's already in writing. So you can see the time commitment, 15 to 20 hours. So you're going to need about 7.5 to 10 hours in the 2-week span. The unit does count for 24% of your grade, and right now this is your weekly, this is your coaching focused on rocking this unit in the weekly update. So you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic tasks that you have to complete this unit. The first one is a SmartBook task. Remember that the official deadline is the same for 1 through 4. It's going to be 9/19. Just keep in mind that because of various weird issues with Connect and SmartBook, I have to put the late deadline for the reading. But what you'll see in Connect or SmartBook is the late deadline, but the official deadline is the one that is given in the title for that task. So the title for this task is Complete Interactive Reading and Submit Results Due by 9/19. That's the official deadline, and then this is the late deadline for this task. I would say that you're going to need 2 to 3 hours to complete this task. So if you're watching this video to kind of pace yourself, then give yourself 2 to 3 hours to complete this task. Keep in mind that I chose the SmartBook via Connect because the way that the author presents the material is how I could present it verbatim in class. I think he's very approachable and makes most of what he has to say about philosophy very, very accessible. So the next you learn about the connection between regulative epistemology and intellectual virtue via 2 downloads and numerous videos. So I just want to emphasize it here, I emphasize in the unit folder. While there's nothing to submit, I do have a study guide. So this is broken down into like 5 steps. Make sure you download the Step 1 study guide and then use it to take notes or find answers in the study guide as you work your way through, I think it's going to be 3 videos and 1 written lecture, because you'll need quite a few of the answers from that study guide for the Unit 2 test, and you'll still need some of the answers in that study guide in the Unit 3 test and the Unit 4 test. So make sure you do take the time to get this all done. I think the videos are going to last about 40 minutes total in this lesson. So there's three or four videos for a total of 40 minutes. So they're anywhere between 7 and 20 minutes. And then there's 1 written lecture that's about 2 pages or so. So I would say you're going to need about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But once you complete the study guide and answer all of it and watch all the videos, then you have part of what you need for every single test throughout the semester. So far we're looking at about 4 to 5 hours just with task 1 and task 2 if you're working through them as intended. The task that is going to take you the most time if you're working through it as intended is going to be task 3. So just like in Unit 1 you had a task that took you the most time, that was task 3, learning about argument by definition, getting more specific instruction with respect to specific items that you constructed. Just like that was a long task in Unit 1, this is going to be your long task in Unit 2. Notice that it says learn about, prepare for, and then complete Unit 2. I strongly advise just going into the test cold turkey. You do want to take time to learn about it. So task 3A is all about, here's a study guide, and then here's some videos, mini lectures, tips, and warnings. I do provide additional information like hints and clues in at the in at least some of the videos that I give you. The videos are actually helping you to prepare for the test in a more efficient way, but also there could be one or two little what I call micro or mini lectures lasting between 5 and 10 minutes. At most there will be two like that. Maybe I feel that Lawhead did not quite present something clearly or precisely enough, so I might fill in the gaps. And then, of course, once you've done that, then you take the test. The test is timed. As you see when you look at the study guide, there are 60 questions, and you have to know the material well enough such that you can complete it in 100 minutes. So that's an hour and 40 minutes. If you go through the study guide and you take notes and you look to the book to find your answers, because most of the answers or not answers, but notes that you need to take for the outline that I give you in the study guide, if you do that, like really seriously, you take notes from the videos, and you've done already this right here, okay, this is assuming you've already done this right here, then I am going to estimate that you're going to need to like make an A. You're going to want to need, in terms of doing this part and then whatever on top of that you have to do, I'm going to say you need about 5 to 6 hours to really prepare for this test. Maybe 4, maybe 5 is a bit much, but I'd say making an A is going to require a minimum 4 hours. And that would include time to take a test, but I'm thinking as many as 5 or 6 because just taking the test takes an hour and 40 minutes. So a minimum of 4, maybe 5, definitely could see it taking 6 hours. And again, that's assuming that you already did this part. If you go straight to the test and you haven't done this part, then you need to tack on whatever amount of time that I told you you would need for this task right here. So let's say it does take you 6 hours to prepare for and then finally take the test. Then we are at about 12, right? We're around 10 to 13 hours or so. And then you still have 2 more tasks. So far, we've covered tasks that all have the same official and late deadline of 9/19, this one, and this one. So then you've got contextualize and generate a meaningful question for a peer in our first dialectic board. So you're going to use a download and a video to learn about how I want you to respond to your peer. It's what I call like the task 3 in Unit 1. It's a hyper-structured assignment. I tell you exactly how and when to make certain moves within a paragraph. You're not going to just, kind of think very creatively on your own about how you want to organize a paragraph to ask your peer question. I have specific moves that I want you to make. So a huge mistake that a lot of students make is not paying attention to what is presented in the download and the video. So please make sure you do that. That's going to take you, the video and the download altogether is going to take you 30 to 45 minutes to get through. You're going to need to read through your peers' responses to item 1. Their arguments, you're going to want to read at least 5 peer responses, maybe all of them. So let's just say you read all of your peer responses, and let's say that there's 30 students that submitted their responses. So that in and of itself, if you're taking 2 minutes per response, is an hour to read through the peer responses, 45 minutes to learn how I want you to respond. So that's about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and then maybe another hour to construct. So this is going to take you, I would say, minimum 2.5, maybe 3 hours. If you're revising, you come back to it, maybe 3.5 hours. So at this point, I think that we are at about the 14 to 16 hour mark, maybe 17 hours, right? And then we come to the task that has its own special deadline. So from this point up, that's all due by the 19th. The late deadline is the 21st. This, however, has a special deadline. This is task 5, and that is get content and submission requirements for the 2-paragraph response to your peer question about your item 1 argument construction. So here, you guys are generating questions for each other, and I have a very specific way you choose a peer, and the methodology that I give you ensures that no one gets 2 questions. Everyone will get a question. And here is where you look to see what question a peer constructed for you, and you answer it. Like other writing tasks, this is very hyper-structured, and I'm going to tell you what to write in each paragraph, what I'll be looking for. Of all the writing tasks you will do with me this semester, this is the least structured. I wouldn't even call this hyper-structured, but I am going to tell you what I will be looking for. What I'm looking for in paragraph 1 is different from what I'm looking for in paragraph 2. So do make sure you read the instructions and the requirements. Really, and I might have said this before, if you just follow the steps, you just do everything that I give you, the reading, the downloads, the video, take notes. If you just follow all the steps of all the components of all the tasks, it is almost impossible to fail this class. People tend to not do so well when they skip videos, ignore videos, skip instructions, and whatnot. So I would say that this task right here, because you're only gonna need to look at one, at a post that a peer gave you, and it's gonna be one paragraph. I would say that by the time you read the instructions, read the paragraph, and figure out what your 2 paragraphs should say, I'm gonna say that this is going to take you. It's just going to depend on your level of reading and competence and stuff like that in various academic matters like comprehension and critical thinking. I would say a very minimum of an hour, maybe a good response where you're editing and proofing, 2 hours. So this is at about then I would say the 17 to 19 hour mark, and that gives you a sense of how long you need to plan to be on this. This is the one that you have until the 26th. The idea being that everyone should have posted a response to someone by the 21st. And so what I'm going to do is if I see that someone doesn't have a response by the 22nd of September, I'm going to have to create a response for you. And you'll have a response by the 22nd or the 23rd such that you can respond to it by the 26th. So that's why I have the special deadline for this task right here. But like I said before, while this will still be available, the Unit 2 folder will be available with Task 5 until the 26th. The task above Task 5 will be available only through the 21st. So I hope this helps you get a sense of how you need to plan the 2 weeks that constitute Unit 2. Just continue on and make sure you're reading everything, watching all the videos, and you will do fine.